Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 24th, 2026 Town of Three Rivers Committee of Council meeting. This is our second meeting tonight. Our first meeting was a public meeting on a land issue. And we have this meeting, we have a closed session after this meeting on one item that's under discussion. Then the meeting will open back up and we have a special meeting after that. So it's a night of plenty of meetings. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory, Epiwik, Prince Edward Island. Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. So I'd like to have an approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor McFarland and second by Councillor Spin. Any comments on the agenda or?
On the closed session, Your Worship, we will not be doing 119 1D.
Right, we only have one item on our closed session, sorry about that, yes. We can remove 119 1D from the closed session. That will not be happening tonight. It was an HR issue and we're just not ready for it. Okay. So, all in favor of the agenda? Aye. Okay, not hearing any nays, motion is carried. Is there anybody in conflict of interest of anything on our, Councilor Monroe?
Yeah, item number 8, 119 1E.
Okay, we'll have that noted. And nobody else? Okay. So number 4 is our adoption of minutes. 4.1 is the adoption of the regular council minutes for July 13th. The motion is that the minutes of the July 13th, 2026 regular council meeting be adopted as written with the following corrections. Under 6, presentations and delegations, Jody McLeod, CBCL, is corrected. Under 8.3, working alone policy, TRH-2 is corrected to working alone policy, TRH-2-2. Yep. There was a couple of corrections, I think, that were noted last time. Yep.
Committee of council, not council meeting? You said council?
Yep, you're right. This is, we got something going on here. Just 1 minute. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong meeting. Yep, just 1 second. Thank you, Ann. Sorry, thanks. That the minutes of the July 27th, 2026 Committee of Council meeting be adopted as written. Okay, moved by Councilor Van Donkersgoed, second by Deputy Mayor Jenkins. Any comments on those minutes? They're in your package. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, that motion is carried. No, it was me. Yeah, it was me. It was my fault. Okay, now we're down to presentations and delegations. And 5.1, we have PACE PEI program that we have Sen from PEI-FM here to do presentation along with Mr. Boyle. This presentation, I'm going to ask if council will agree to a few more than 5 minutes for this presentation. So everybody that's in favor of, I need a motion, I guess. Okay. Okay. Second by Councilor McDonald. All in favor? Aye. Okay. So Sen, we have about 10 minutes here. Okay. Welcome. Yeah.
Considering all the meetings you're having tonight.
Yeah, we're having a few.
Well, thank you, Mayor Johnson and members of the council. My name is Satya Sen. I'm the Executive Director of Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipalities. And joining me is Julian Boyle, CEO of SwitchPace. And we are going to talk to the council about a program that FPIM is launching sooner, hopefully this fall, and that's called Property Assessed Clean Energy. So this program is just to give you an idea about what this program is. This program has been in PEI with City of Charlottetown and Town of Stratford. This program is basically, it's going to provide low interest loans to residents to retrofit their homes, deep and light energy retrofits. Could be from heat pumps to, insulation to solar installations. Now, Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipality received about $15 million commitment from Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund. We have received about $10 million in capital loan and $5 million in grant. And we are matching that $10 million of capital loan with private capital investment. So this is one of the first model of PACE program in the country where we have public-private partnership. So the program is going to be about $25 million in total. And we did it so that, we could run this program across PEI, from tip to tip, from Surrey to Three Rivers and, Tignish and Alberton. The capacity of municipalities are major issues, and, only the larger municipalities get access to such fundings in the country. So Julian can talk a little bit more about the program, but I just want to mention that according to our assessment, we would have about 1,300, 1,400 homes retrofitted in PEI across from tip to tip. We would be creating over 350 plus jobs based on this program activity. And about 16 municipalities are going to be participating, starting with 4 large municipalities that have not participated in this program in the past, which is Three Rivers, Summerside, Cornwall, and Town of Kensington to begin with. And yes, please, councillors, if you have any questions, Mayor, please feel free to, stop me and ask those questions during the course of the presentations. Julian, do you want to take over some of those things? Yeah.
So, good evening. Thanks very much for the invitation to really talk about this really exciting program. I'm going to just spend a few minutes here talking about what does this actually look like and feel like to residents, because the PEI experiences some of the highest energy costs in Canada. We still have a lot of people using oil for heating, and over the last 4 to 5 months, we've seen a rapid escalation in that. Electricity prices continue to rapidly increase here on the island, and as an engineer, I can say nothing really beats energy efficiency in this context. It really puts money back into people's pocket, and the great thing about energy efficiency too is this is a resource that needs to be purchased locally. So we're going to be really supporting local contractors, in particular on this end of the island too. And so it's really great from an economic perspective for residents. So how does this work for residents? Well, the first thing is they call our team. The number one thing we stress in all of our programs, and I think why the programs in Stratford and Charlottetown were successful, is it's easy. There's no online portal that they've got to fill out. They don't need to be technically internet savvy. They might not have internet, some of the people we've dealt with in the past. So the first thing is they do is they call our support team, and they talk to one of our energy concierges who really act as coaches through the whole process. We usually start with a free home energy assessment. So a lot of the homeowners are going to get some supplementary supports here. Normally it would be $200 out of pocket to have a home energy assessment. It'll be free here for the residents in Three Rivers. But what does the energy concierge do? Well, they really guide them to really find a local contractor when they get quotes in to help support the homeowner in analyzing the quotes, making sure they're getting a fair price from the contractor, and also stitch together any stacking rebates that they might be eligible for. So whether that's through Efficiency PEI or the federal government. Right now, the landscape is always confusing to homeowners and what they're eligible for. In particular for low income and seniors, there's going to be extra supports to really help guide those types of homeowners. The program basically, once they've been approved for financing, and we work with the PEI tax department to make sure that it's the right homeowners and they're in good standing on their property tax. And after they've been approved for financing, contractor does the work, the program pays the contractor, and then the homeowner starts repaying over a 10 to 15-year loan of the program. Typically, about 40% of the projects are heat pumps. As Sen said, we see a lot of interest in solar too on the island. This is a great place for solar, and a lot of good solar contractors here. Good sunny area of the country as well. But there's lots of other types of projects that homeowners need help with too, and insulating doors and windows, and a whole sort of other types of things. Anything that basically saves energy and reduces carbon emissions is what the program's designed to support.
Just on that. Sorry, just one more point to add to that. We are going to have a fixed interest rate for homeowners through this program of 4.5%, and we're trying to keep it below that. Of course, as you know, the situation with the United States and we don't know what the bank's rate's going to look like. There is some uncertainty around the economy. However, our program will always be below the market rate. So, the loans are going to be favorable, the interest rates especially, and the terms of the loan are going to be favorable for the homeowners. 10 years for heat pumps, 15 years for rest of the things. One more thing I want to kind of emphasize on is that, there is no credit check for homeowners in this program. We don't do credit. We basically check, their property tax, and especially if there is any raise in the property taxations, whether, they have made their property tax payment properly. And that's really the key here. Your security is your property tax. It's tied to your property assessment. And we hope, and because the program has been very successful, there is zero debt, bad debt in this program history. And I think, Julian, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is over $300 million of program activity across the country and zero bad debt till date. And so this is actually a pretty good program, given the fact that the rising energy cost and probably homeowners across PEI, especially in Three Rivers, would have that opportunity to reduce that burden on energy cost. And so we're going to bring about $1.5 million, $1.4 million of public capital, and matching that with private capital and blending that would make it about $3.17 million of total investments in Three Rivers. Julian, you want to take further?
So we're looking at the program impacting somewhere around 200 to 250 homes here in the Three Rivers community over about a 2 to 3 year initial program design lifespan. We're looking at launching the program early in January, so you folks are kind of getting the ice-breaking headline news on this. And we're hope to kind of launch soon here within Three Rivers. Here's some sort of forecasts here on the kind of program uptake over the three-year lifespan of the program. It'll be naturally kind of ramping up, and then within years 2 and 3. We've run similar programs in Charlottetown and Stratford, and these are actually very conservative numbers. We think, based on, the likelihood of homeowners needing help here in the communities, that we're actually going to see a much higher uptake of the programming that we're sort of conservatively forecasting right now. So I guess most importantly, really, I guess in tonight's context is sort of, what does this cost the town, and what does this mean for the town of Three Rivers as your responsibility as council here, and the structure of governance here. So maybe I'll turn this over to Sen, because it's FPI's program.
Thanks, Julian. So there is, it costs nothing to the town of Three Rivers, except for the fact that, these debts would actually be reflected on your balance sheet at the end of the year. And that's precisely because of the fact that, there is a lien, on the property. The security is the security for this program is the lien. So as the homeowners start repaying the loan, that balance is, debt is eventually going to get reduced. And that's just the debt on paper. The debt will be, Federation of PEI municipalities would have that agreement, the loan agreement with the town of Three Rivers, should the council decides to move forward with this project. And we would have, regular update to the councils and, reporting to the councils again, and that also involves reporting to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. The other thing that is extremely important here in this case is there is no administrative burden to the town of Three Rivers, staff here. We basically, a homeowner, when they sign up for these loans to retrofit their homes, let's say $60,000, retrofit, or, about $20,000, whatever that amount might look like. That is reflected on your total accumulated debt. However, the moment they start repaying the loans, that debt is eventually reduced in your own papers. Julian, anything I'm missing? But
Well, I mean, the number one, I think, from a town perspective here is this is a user pay model. The participants in the program are the ones that are paying for and investing in these energy retrofits. So it's designed to recover all of the costs within the operating costs and the capital costs. So it's not subsidized by the non-participating taxpayer. I think also that the program's really quite unique here in the way it's being designed for all of PEI here is most municipalities do not have extra staff that could be running programs like this. And so we're at the FPIM as an organization here is going to be taking on a lot of roles and responsibilities that might have been typically like in the back office of Charlottetown or Stratford. And here, we recognize you're involved in many different things that your residents want. And so we have to design a program that is administratively as light a touch for the municipality to make it really sustainable as well. So we're almost done here. I think kind of this is probably, you have a copy of these slides, but as we said here, these projects are extremely economic for homeowners. The program's designed that their savings usually far exceed the payments that they have to make in any 1 month. And so like here, when you were talking about like, homeowners getting off oil right now, their return on investment is over 50%. It's significant. And, everybody knows people that have put in heat pumps and are happy with it, but like the numbers just keep improving kind of year after year in the performance of these things. And quite frankly, the baseline cost of oil as well too. So like these projects are really a great way to kind of support homeowners and reducing their energy costs and really making home ownership more affordable too. So I think just to wrap this up, maybe there's really, I think we'd be looking to, what can you do tonight to really participate or involve in this program? The first step is an enabling bylaw, and so we'd be looking for a motion maybe tonight to at least initiate the bylaw process over the next 2 to 3 months. And
Yeah.
with that, I think I'll just turn it back over to Sam.
Yeah, so the bylaw process is, agreeing to work on the bylaw does not mean you are committing to the program. It simply means that you have a law in place that allows you to participate in this program and allows your residents to be able to access this program. Now, of course, that means, Federation and Town of Three Rivers would have to have, a number of agreements, that will allow for the capital to be moved to Town of Three Rivers. So the funding agreement we hope to be executed in winter of 2027, so January onwards. We still expect the program to be launched in January, but again, that's really not up to us, but that's up to the federal government and the GMF to make sure that they have the right time for the announcement. With this, we rest the presentations. But any questions the council has? I know there are a lot of details and information here. Please feel free to ask us.
Okay, thank you, both. It's a lot to take in, for sure. Council, go ahead, John.
Thank you, Your Worship. Okay, I took advantage of one of these programs a couple years ago for solar and heat pumps. No problems at all. It was a lot of paperwork and whatnot on my part. But who sends out the invoices? Federation?
The Federation, you mean to homeowners?
To the homeowners?
The homeowners invoicing would be through SwitchBase, because they would be the contractor, doing on the homeowners administration.
Right.
Yes.
We hold a balance on our balance sheet, on our
On the
paperwork.
budget, yes.
So if the house sells, that balance comes off automatically through the sale of the home at the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Typically, that's what we see is the balance on the principal is negotiated in the house sale, but it can, because it's uniquely, because it's attached to the property, it's not a personal loan.
Right.
So we do see some of this as being transferable too, and so it's really up to the buyer and the seller, typically what they negotiate on that. About 10 or 15% of the time, we see it transferred.
Oh,
And
to the new homeowner?
yeah, and usually the rest of them, people are seeing a higher value, sale value, if they put solar in their home.
Yep.
They're seeing a higher value in their home, and the buyers like seeing that paid off before they take over ownership, so. It can go either way, and I mean, I think that's one of the real benefits of the program, it's transferable with new homeowners, so if you thought you were only gonna live in your home 4 to 5 years and solar had a 10-year payback, this sort of negates that concern that you can transfer it to the new owner as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Spin?
It's not so much a bylaw or anything, but who decides who qualifies for the grant or whatever?
Thank you so much for the questions, Mr. Spain. I think it's really, again, when homeowners put an application through us, through the program, SwitchBase will make sure that, they qualify for the loan. And that's really based upon their, the history of property taxations and, and the bills on the water and wastewater bills that they pay. Of course, there are municipalities within Three Rivers areas where there is no water and wastewater systems. In that case, we would be looking into their property taxations,
But if you got 25 looking for the same dollar,
So, I mean, as far as approvals, the processes, FPIM really holds the purse strings, and so projects are never approved until FPIM has given the green light, and also payments released to a contractor until they're successful. We kind of do a lot of the heavy lifting, usually within the process stuff, with the homeowners and the contractors and the PEI tax department. The program's designed, quite frankly, to be on a first come, first served basis for homeowners. There's a limited amount of funding that FCM and FPIM have for the program across the province. So, 215 homeowners is what we're forecasting. When it gets to like the 211th homeowner, we start to be very careful about who's approved and at what stage they're at in their projects, right?
And just to add to that, we have a model of equalization, for example, amongst the participating municipalities. Let's say there is not enough uptake in Summerside, for example, we would be able to reroute that money to Three Rivers for that matter, if the demand is higher. So that demand side management requires some, moving around the dollars from one community to another community. So again, this is just an estimate of you would be getting about a little over $3 million. But doesn't mean it could be higher than that. Depends on if the demand is really strong in this community.
so this would be all just Three Rivers, right?
Yeah, about over $3 million, yes. Over 200 homes, and yeah, that would be all Three Rivers, yeah.
So right now, FPIM has allocated 1.5 million of the 10 million low interest capital from FCM to Three Rivers. If in the balance of that, 8.5, there's slower uptake in other communities, it could be reallocated here, but that's kind of a down the road kind of question. What we see here is like we have to do a lot of community engagement to make homeowners aware of this program, and also engage with the contractors in the community too. So there's usually like a 3 to 6 month kind of ramp up in any type of program like this.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing I want to kind of add to that is, the $3.17 million, that's not all municipal debt. Only $1.5 million is municipal debt. So when we talk about the debt on your books, it's really the public capital, not the private capital. So just want to clarify that.
Okay, Martina, go ahead.
I just, so the first slides went really fast. So this is federal money given to the Federation of Municipalities, PEI. And so you're reaching out to other municipalities, clearly, because we're all part of the same team, right? So you're asking us to no money, I get that, but, so you need, Three Rivers, for example, to promote the program and,
Yes, we will, I mean, of course, in tandem with Federation of PEI Municipalities, we would be doing the heavy lifting here, promoting the programs, doing the town halls and the community events to make sure that the homeowners are aware of this program and get, the benefit of this program. Three Rivers is, the municipalities are the cornerstone of this program because they have to enable this program, because we cannot launch this program in Three Rivers without Three Rivers actually passing a bylaw to be able to participate in this program and finalizing an agreement with FPEIM, the Federation of Municipalities, to make sure that, the terms are, are negotiated. Now, I hope that answers your questions, but, just want to add to that one thing. There is no way we can reach out to homeowners directly without municipal involvement, because the municipalities have the ability to put a statutory lien on the property. Federation of Prince Edward Island Municipality do not have that power to put a statutory lien on the property. Now, when a homeowners take loan, or to retrofit their home, there is no security other than that lien. And hence, that power lies with the town of Three Rivers, so, and we won't be able to do it without the town's support moving forward and participation.
so I have another question. So this is very, if we support it, which I wouldn't see why we wouldn't, but, does that limit now just to the exact boundaries of Three Rivers? Or is this an Eastern PEI program that a lot of homeowners?
It is within the limits of the municipal boundaries.
Okay.
Precisely because of, again, the concept of the municipal lien or the statutory lien
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, of course.
unless the province joins in, and then the provincial, finance department decides that they are going to put a lien on the property, and that's a separate conversation, how we can, expand the program and scale it up. But yes, municipal participation is required for this one.
So FPIM's membership and ownership is 44 municipalities, and that would be the eligible communities here. There is a lot of unincorporated area in the province, and unfortunately, those communities would not be eligible, and those homeowners would not be eligible to participate in something like this because there's no way to secure any loan to those homeowners. Now, that's a relatively small, it's a big land area, but a very small population base, so.
Okay, so maybe you could bring it back to the last slide here. And so we have some recommendations here. What would, where do we want to go with this tonight?
The template, is it on your guys' website, or did you send that to us? Like, you have a template kind of for the bylaw?
Yes, if the council decides to move forward with this program, then we would be sending the bylaw to the CEO and the deputy CEO's office and make sure that the bylaw aligns with your, the management is,
Yeah, I think that's probably our first step.
Yeah.
You send the bylaw to John.
Yep.
Danielle, kind of look at it, and we can move forward in the next COC, or if we have to push it.
So these recommendations and the timeline, they're really structured around, you folks are gonna be in the middle of a municipal election here in about 2 months. And, it's our preference, that, this is coming to the new council to really ratify a sort of a legacy program, right? It wouldn't feel right to launch a program like this in October. It could be done, but I think the most concrete thing that could be done is to at least pass or start the bylaw process. And that doesn't mean you have to participate in this program, but it kind of gets one of the it enables it and gets one of the prerequisites of participation in the FPIM program out of the way.
Okay, is everybody agreeable to what Cody says? Yeah. So you'll send John the bylaw and we'll go from there. Okay, thank you
so
very
much, Mayor.
much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
Okay. Okay, we'll move along here. I guess John can Okay. Number 6 on our agenda is reports. 6.1 is the Emergency Operations Center Coordinator. It's as written. If you have had a chance to look at that, these reports, I think 6.2 Economic Development Corporation, they're all as written. I don't think we have any presenters here tonight. 6.3 is the Three Rivers Sportsplex. So if you have anything in those reports, or we can start with the Emergency Operations Center. Any questions on that report? Okay, move to 6.2, the Economic Development Corporation report. There's a lot in that report. If you have any questions, you can pass them on to staff. And the Three Rivers Sportsplex is a relatively short report as it has not been open. Opening in October, I think they said. So if you have any questions on those, you can send them along. And so we're down to number 7, which is a request for decisions. Okay, the first request for decision is an amendment, is RFD 26-38, amendment to bylaw 2024-02, a bylaw to regulate the proceedings of council. I'm going to ask Daniel to take this on. Speak to this.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you. So the purpose of this request is to provide council with an overview of proposed amendments to the town's procedural bylaw in the introduction of a new Schedule A delegation speaker request form for consideration and approval. The proposed amendments are intended to enhance the efficiency, effectiveness, and orderly conduct of council meetings while continuing to support meaningful public participation in municipal decision-making. As council and administration have gained experience administering the bylaw, administration have identified opportunities that could improve the delegation and public participation process while maintaining transparency and public access to local government. Administration has undertaken a review of existing bylaw and compared procedural bylaws from a number of municipalities to identify common practices and governance and measures used to facilitate constructive public participation. This review found that many municipalities have established guidelines regarding who may speak when individuals may address council, submission requirements, time limits, and restrictions regarding matters that have already been decided or remain under active consideration by boards or committees. These amendments are intended to create a predictable and fair process for both council and the public while ensuring meetings can be conducted in an orderly and productive manner. Administration wishes to emphasize that these amendments are not to intend to discourage public participation. We acknowledge public input and recognize that constructive feedback, diverse opinions, and healthy discussion contribute positively to good governance and informed decision-making. The proposed changes are intended to strengthen the public participation process by establishing clear expectations and procedures. By providing a consistent framework, the town can continue to welcome meaningful engagement from residents while ensuring meetings remain respectful, focused, and efficient. The amendments seek to balance the public's opportunity to be heard with council's responsibility to conduct municipal business effectively. So the request is for council to approve the proposed amendments to a bylaw to regulate the proceedings of council, bylaw number 2024-02, in the amended Schedule A form as written.
Thank you, Danielle.
You're welcome.
Questions, comments? I think this was, this review was a result of a,
It was recommended in one of the
Yeah.
code of conduct.
yes, this review was recommended after one of our code of conduct complaints. So Danielle has provided you with the review of what other jurisdictions do, and that's how this came about. Discussion? Move it ahead? Okay, we'll move it ahead to the next council meeting. Okay, the next is 7.2, which is RFD 26-38, 39, portion of Kent Street, Georgetown Street closure bylaw number 2026-01. I'll turn this over to CAO John.
Thanks, Your Worship. The request is that council proceed with the permanent closure and discontinuance of the small portion of Kent Street in Georgetown, extending from Wood Lane to the existing Department of Fisheries and Oceans harbor property and identified within parcel 2025.1 on the attached survey plan. And that council give first reading to the portion of Kent Street, Georgetown Street closure bylaw number 2026-01.
Discussion, move it ahead. Okay, we'll move it ahead to the next meeting. Okay, we're down to number 8, which is our closed session. It's closed under MGA section 1191E, and it's an item under discussion, and we will, after, we have to ask people to leave this part of the meeting, except for representatives of TCAP. And we will open back up to do a special meeting on the Kent Street property closure of the bylaw. So
And
we will
I
be
can also
opening
make
back
it
up.
clear,
Yeah.
Your Worship, this is for information. There'll be no decision-making
Yeah,
based on what we're hearing tonight.
no. Okay, thank you. Okay, so except for people that are here representing TCAP, we thank you. If you're not coming back, we thank you for your attendance tonight and hope to see you again. Oh, I'm sorry. So. Who was the second? All in favor? Aye. Okay.